Okay, so today I'm going to begin the process of converting BellevilleRunningClub.com into a templated site. And so right now there's nothing there but a landing page with nothing. And so this is a Bootstrap site that is built in the Mern stack, and I have found a template that I like. This is a Bootstrap template, and this is very customizable for my purposes. And so I'm going to begin to convert this bare bones site into this template. Now, be it that it's built in React, you know, we're going to get this Bootstrap template converted into a React site. And so that is the task at hand. And so this is just a free template that I found online. It's kind of got the URL to that template right here. And I've got this opened up locally on my machine. And so I'll just kind of move that off screen. And then I'm going to open up my Mern app and kind of get that up and running. And so if I open this in code, and I can begin to piece things over. And so right now, everything is in a front end folder. And here we've got a source with one component, this app.jsx. And I can kind of delete the count here. And I've got a little bootstrap in here. If I kind of boot this up again on localhost, I've got just to kind of take a look at its current state, I've got a script here that we can boot this up called a dev script. So we're going to do npm run dev. And kind of get the Mern app booted up, and we can see that this is on localhost, kind of matches what's live here. Now, just to inspect this kind of early on and kind of see if there's any console errors or anything going on. Right now, no console errors. That's going to be important as we start bringing in scripts, that we keep that console as clear of errors as possible, so we're not bringing in scripts that aren't working. And so as I look at, the task, if I start really top to bottom of what I want to do is, we're going to bring in some Google fonts, maybe bringing in these different meta tags, that'll be there for SEO purposes. Bring in some Google fonts. Let's update the title. And then right off the top, bringing in some local Bootstrap. And so here it's linking to Bootstrap. I've already brought Bootstrap in additional way, so I don't need that import. Bringing in Font Awesome. I'll probably bring in Font Awesome a different way as well. And then linking to a local CSS file. And so these are just a few tasks at hand to kind of get this ball rolling. And so kind of to start, let me increase my font size here. Okay, Control Plus gets that job done. And bring down the terminal. Now, here is our index.html file. And you can see I've updated the title already. Let's bring in a Google font. And paste in that Google font. And check the console. that. Google font. Still happy, so if I refresh, question becomes, do I need to do a run build? And I probably do. So because what I've changed is in this front end folder, I need to do a run build. So there is a way that as I'm changing this source code, it'll automatically kind of rebuild. So I think I'll do that now. Okay. So here's the script that I add. So I'm going to add on my package JSON under my scripts, I add a build : auto. And so if I close this from running, because that's my full stack app, I'm going to go into my front end, and if I do npm run build auto, okay, we could see that it did a transform, so that's good. And if I boot it up now, let's see. I think it's working, but I gotta get it booted up. Okay, so now that I've got that build auto running on the front end, I'm gonna open up a new terminal. And npm run dev on the back end. If I open up localhost, and if I inspect, we now have our Google font. Okay, cool. And so what this allows me to do is, as I make changes to my front end, be it under index.html, and let's just test this out. Illinois, let's just put a period here for the sake of that. You could see it here, rebooted the back end. Here, I believe it transformed my files. Let's do that again. Yeah, there we go. So it transformed my files on the front end. Okay, so that's cool. That's a nice little add-on. So as I change any HTML, it kind of rebuilds my dist folder, which my backend is using. And so now we can actually begin the task at hand. Of converting the template on over. And so we brought in some Google fonts. We have a title, which is decent for now. We need a link to Bootstrap. Now I've got that. Kind of minimize my terminal. And the way that I linked to Bootstrap was bringing in Bootstrap as a dependency. And so for Font Awesome, I'm probably going to do the same thing. I'll go to npm.js and find Font Awesome. And that's kind of dated. So another is React fonts. React icons, excuse me. React icons. So React icons updated more frequently, and it's got a whole bunch of different icon sets that we can use. So let's install React icons on our front end. And so this is our front end. And let's bring in React icons into the front end. Okay. Now import. So let's just make sure that this is working by using a little template code here. Okay, and then the tag looks like such.
Are you just bad like what? Just listening.
Okay, let's run our script to build auto. Cool. Back to the back end. Boot it up. We got the icon pulling in, so that's good. Okay, so kind of pulling the template over. We've brought in the Google font called Poppins. We've got a title good to go. The next thing to do is bring in, we got Bootstrap good to go, we got Font Awesome good to go. Next thing to do is bring in some custom CSS. Now, let's see what's actually in here under assets. So that's going to be something I'm going to do. I'm going to copy in that assets folder into my React public directory. And let's go assets, CSS, trainings, Templato Training Studio, and okay, pretty fair amount of styling in here, so yeah, let's bring that in. So let's start by copying in the assets folder, and so here's my template, and there's that, there's the assets directory, and I'll go up into the no-git front end. This is public. Put everything under public, under assets. And there we go. Okay, so we got the files moved over. Close, close. Okay, so now we need to link to that. And if I look at kind of the root here, I'm looking here and I'm seeing that the fave icon is linked right here. And the way to get to BRC logo JPEG is in public. So we get to it by saying go to the root BRC logo JPEG, which is right there. So presumably if we need to link to a CSS file, we're going to start here. It's a style sheet. Assets slash CSS And I'll just rename this called brc.css. Okay, and again we should kind of get that recompiled there. And there's also a type text CSS that doesn't hurt to add. And take a look. That's being sent down to the client, which is right there. So if I copy and paste, we see that we do hit the CSS file. And so let's see, we get a little bit of styling here on our paragraphs, for example. So if I go into the page, it's probably overridden, but there's a paragraph. So I scroll down, see if I can see if that rule is being applied at all. So it's all being compiled into this index. Let's we're getting all our fonts from this SAS variables, which maybe we need to get into changing that. But I want to get this CSS brought in. Do something crazy like that. Okay, yeah, we're good here. It was a conflicting rule, background of white. If I take that out, save it, and refresh, we do see that we get the BRC CSS. So we are linking to our CSS file, and sometimes you gotta wait. I think that's kind of what was going on, because I was refreshing too soon. But we are linking to BRC CSS, and on the body, find our rule, because I was trying to change it to pink, but it says line 117, which I just deleted. So it's pulling up my old CSS, which I just deleted, line 117. So it's a little bit of cache going on. Let me save that, try again. And so I think what's happening, there's background of pink. So now that's good. It's still being overridden because obviously no pink background. But we're getting our CSS rules in there. Obviously, a lot of it's overridden. What's overriding it here? So here, body, background color of white. So you can see here. We need to overwrite this sass variable as well. Something is still keeping it white. Okay, good deal. So as I am dealing with some caching, and when I'm just refreshing the browser and the CSS isn't being applied, but as I uncheck, if I kind of refresh and inspect my body tag, if I uncheck the background color there, as well as it looks like on line 82 it's still picking up a background color of white there. So let's look at that line 82 again and see if we got any more CSS to get rid of. Yeah, there it is. Conflicting rules. There we go. Okay, so that's one less hoop to jump through. Of course, we're not going to keep the background color of pink. We're just getting this all wired up. And click the body. Once that cache goes away, it gets rid of that line. Okay, localhost. Get rid of that. And now Firefox is of course cached as well, so let's go Edge. And select body. Okay, well that line's now gone, so it may be I need to reboot my front end as well to kind of get this flushed out, but it's where I want it. So we're linking to our CSS, we're able to make changes to our CSS and ultimately get some of those changes reflected in the page. So what do we continue with? Okay. As I look at this, we're gonna kind of get out of our file here and get into our components. And so source, app, and bringing in some CSS this way, bringing in some JavaScript this way, but that JavaScript's in the node modules. We also have some different JavaScript that's not in node modules that's in this folder. And so when we have assets inside of public, we bring them in with a different syntax right here. So that's kind of what I want to work on now, is bringing in some scripts inside of inside of assets. And so maybe, just to get this up and running, we go back into index. And right before my closing body, paste in these scripts. Now I'm not needing Bootstrap brought in, but we do want jQuery, so let's do this. Okay, bring all those in, and okay. Okay, no console errors currently. If I look here, we are now linking up to our assets. For example, let's paste that and see that we hit that file, hopefully. Great. Okay. So if I maybe hit this, custom.js, great. Still no console errors, so this is all good. Okay, so making some good progress, and kind of where I'm at now is I want to, of course, getting things to work on localhost is always one challenge, but then getting them to work on a live server is another. I haven't made any revolutionary changes that should break. However, I'm going to go ahead and do a deployment and get this kind of live with these small changes that I've brought in. I guess before I do that, make one little change here, because at the Beverly Hills High School track, and just actually make this more factual. At either or okay. And the beard is going to be going away, but we'll just keep it in there for the sake of testing. So we'll stop the back end. We will stop the front end, and we will redeploy. So here's the deployment npm, it's a gcloud. Run deploy brc service. Okay. Okay, deployment live, so let's hit BellevilleRunningClub.com.
Plus tax, I was like 14, 13.
And obviously that's updated. And let's inspect and see no console errors, which is good. Into the head, we got our Google fonts. We've got our assets for CSS. Awesome. And kind of down into our body, we've got our JavaScript. Okay, this is going to be a process. We've taken several steps of the process. We are on our way. I'm going to stop this and continue to live code in another.